Alrighty. Hello soul searchers, and welcome back to my channel, Falolu's Fortune, where we use tarot to gain better insight into ourselves and the world around us. So, as you can see from the title, today we are doing makeup and giving messages, but before I can give you the message that I'm getting today, I have to give you some context. I'm gonna try to be short with this, but y'all know how I am. Just take this journey with me real quick, okay? So I was meditating with the ancestors this morning, as I try to do every morning, and the messages came through a little differently, but the main thing that stuck out to me was colors. I had my eyes closed, again, as I always do, but the sun is out, it's bright, it's beautiful outside today, and behind my closed eyes, I just kept seeing a myriad of colors. Orange was the predominant one, which kind of inspired today's outfit as well as today's makeup look that I'm gonna do. I did start off camera just to save time, but anyway. I predominantly saw orange, but I also saw blue, green, red. Like, I pretty much saw the whole rainbow, but orange is the one that really stuck out to me. So I was like, okay, let me go get my palette, and I was kind of confused on where this was going because y'all know previous videos have been intuitive makeup, which means I don't know what the look's gonna be. I don't know what colors are coming up. But considering I already had the colors today, I was like, okay, let me just choose a palette. So I chose one of my favorite palettes. This is Juicy Boost by Colored Raine, and I immediately zeroed in on this color here, Orange Carrot. It's funny because this one looks more orange on camera, but it's actually kind of like pinkish red. It's called Watermelon Detox. This one is the one that caught my eye. And like I said, it's called Orange Carrot. Well, that sent me down a rabbit hole because I'm like, what other color is a carrot? Like, why do we have to specify orange? But I also know that I don't know everything, so I Googled, and yeah, carrots also come in purple, yellow, white, red, and of course orange. So I was like, well, shit. Orange is actually an engineered color for a carrot. Historically, they were predominantly purple or white, or purple, yellow, and white, I believe it said. So yeah, the orange one is engineered. They didn't use that word, but that's basically what it was. It was man-made. And that simple fact reminded me of a conversation that I had with my fiance earlier this morning about designer babies. If you don't know what a designer baby is, it's basically when people, you know, they choose what sort of intelligence level they want for their child, the height, the eye color. You know, they literally choose all of the traits of their baby, and they work to like have the embryo genes change before the baby is even inseminated, or you know, before the egg is even fertilized and grows into a baby or whatever. They try to do all of this at the embryonic level. And my fiance and I were talking about this because I don't even know how it came up, but we were both just like, yeah, that's weird. And he informed me. I've learned a lot today, y'all. Mind you, this was all about like 10:30. It's like I had a whole class in engineering and shit by 10:30. Anyway, he informed me that when people do that, it can actually lead to different developmental issues for the baby, whether they be, you know, cognitive issues, physical handicaps, things like that. And I didn't know that. I did Google it though, and he's correct. That can lead to literal developmental and health consequences for the child when you're tampering with their genes as an embryo. Anyway, all of this information that I gathered by 10:30 this morning led me to a question, and it was basically, what gets lost in the pursuit of perfection? And this is where we're gonna sit and tease out some stuff, okay? This is where we're gonna cook. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit more just so y'all can see what I'm doing on my makeup. I mean, if you want to see my makeup, but we're also gonna talk real stuff. I will have the products that I'm using listed in the description. Yes, because I don't want to keep interrupting the message to talk about makeup. Like, it'll be listed in the description box, okay? Okay, great. So what gets lost in the pursuit of perfection? I arrived at this question because obviously the genetic modification, and it's like there's always some consequence when you think you're making things better, and sometimes you actually are making things better. The two cases or examples that came to me this morning between the carrots and the designer babies kind of seem to lean more in the negative direction as far as like what gets lost. And in the bigger scheme, like if we zoom out from genetics and science and things like that, in the bigger scheme, it's like in whatever perfection, whatever level of better you are currently trying to pursue, what gets lost. And in that sense, it actually comes across very neutral, right? I think when we think about losing, we immediately think sacrifice. We immediately think, you know, it's something you're going to miss. And I'm not necessarily getting that vibe. It's just a question of what needs to go so that better can replace it. It's definitely giving Mama Oya. Y'all know that's my mother, Orisha. Tower card energy. If y'all see my eyes watering, it's because I'm cooking. This is when I know like messages are finna start flowing through, because the sinuses start acting up, the eyes start watering. It's a whole affair. Y'all just don't mind me. So yeah, it's there was also the Chariot card that came through, because there is this sense that like you can maybe walk the middle ground for a moment, but eventually one lifestyle is going to have to take precedence. You know, you can't live a new life and an old life at the same time. You are one person, one vessel. So you can only live one experience at a time. You can't experience poverty and wealth at the same time. Pick one, right? Just for example. And so it's also giving Chariot card energy. So it's like what gets lost or what will need to be lost in your pursuit of perfection. And then I also got the song Lose Yourself by Eminem. So there's definitely a sense, maybe for some of us, that we even have to lose ourselves or who we've always known ourselves to be. And that doesn't have to be a bad thing. But it's just, maybe it can be a little scary, you know, whenever we're changing up our self-concept and working on building ourselves into who we want to be. It can be scary because you're having to show up and behave in a way that you're not really accustomed to. I've always said that I'm actually like really bad at verbal communication. And here I am, because this is what I want to do, as y'all know. I've switched up my channel multiple times. I've had multiple channels, but it's just like, this is the thing that keeps calling me. So I'm going to have to change my self-concept. I'm going to have to say, oh no, I can communicate verbally. I can communicate clearly. I can show up on camera and do makeup and talk and chew gum at the same time. That's not a big issue for me. Even if it has been previously, I have to be open enough to the idea that maybe I've changed and that that's not necessarily a bad thing. So there definitely could be some sense of like, oh my God, who am I becoming? What even am I? And believe me, I get it. But it doesn't have to be scary, and it doesn't have to be bad. There was also something else I was going to say that I have wondered if I have to lose, which is like my security. Y'all know I don't like what I do for a living. I'm grateful for my job. I'm very blessed. It has offered me a lot of stability and security, and you know, it's something that I haven't had to worry about. I'm grateful for my job. I am. It has offered me a lot, but it's not something that I love to do. It's not what I want to do with my life. And so I've been wondering if maybe I have to lose the full-time benefits, the full-time pay, the full-time healthcare benefits and things like that, and maybe do part-time, because now that I have a second job, my struggle is time, which is why I don't have as much time here, which is why I'm doing like a lot of bulk recording, so that when I come back, I can hopefully, prayerfully be more consistent for you guys. But that's something I'm also wondering, like, do I need to lose something that has kind of anchored me for 8 years and go in a whole other direction and go part-time and, you know, just to get some of my time back? And I'm not saying I've decided that, but it's the message is basically Spirit just asking us to think about it. And I think that's also why orange came up so heavily today, is because orange is related to the sacral chakra, which is the creative space, the creative force. This doesn't just have to be art. You living your reality, living your life, that is a form of creating. And even if you're not actively choosing, you're still choosing. Doing makeup while cooking, as I call it, giving these messages is like challenging, because my eyes are trying to water up as I'm doing makeup. I'm like, are we putting makeup on or taking it off? Confused, but it's okay. I'm gonna get through this makeup look and I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm loving it already, truly. I'm really feeling this. Battery's about to die. Great. Giving me some time to recoup and recover. All right, I think I'm gonna go into a turmeric shot, which is the color right next to it, right here. Yeah, as your main message is basically, as you're living your life experience and creating your life, even if you're only doing it in your mind right now, like, that's okay. That's where things start. But as you're creating your life and in the pursuit of better, what are you going to have to lose? And is it even something that you will miss? There's a book coming to my mind that I have definitely mentioned on my channel before. It's called The Mountain Is You. I forgot the author's name, but the whole premise of the book is basically that people, you know, as humans, we think we're chasing our happiness, our joy, but really most of the times we're chasing our comfort. And so really think about what you would have to lose. And again, is it something that you would really miss? And even if it is something you would really miss, why? Would you miss the feeling that it gave you, or would you just miss the fact that it made you comfortable and you at least knew where you stood and where you were going? And there's nothing wrong with admitting that. Actually, admitting that maybe it's just the fact that it's comfortable for you and it's stable is the only thing that you miss. Admitting that is what will allow you to move forward, because it's like, but I don't just want comfort. I also want to thrive. I also want to live and experience life. I want to see different places. I want to try new foods. I want to meet different people. I want to be on my own time. And when an idea hits me at 2:45 in the morning, I want to be able to pursue it instead of having to worry about how tired I'm going to be the next day because I have to clock in. You know, it's things like that. Like, yes, it's offered comfort, but also what has it taken away? And so when thinking about the losses, there's also something coming up about pros and cons. Like, well, that's so funny. I just got a song. I want to say it's Baby Keem, but I can't remember the name of the song. But he says, what's the pros and the cons of this next chick? I'll put it on the screen if I can find it. But yeah, literally, like, what's the pros and the cons of this thing that you may have to lose? And when you go through that list, it'll probably become very clear that it's not something you would actually miss. It's just a comfort. You know, it's just a crutch. And there's nothing wrong with wanting comfort and security, especially when everything else is already chaotic. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's just good to be aware so that you know what it is you are actually pursuing. Are you truly pursuing your happiness, or are you just pursuing your comfort? Sometimes they can be the same thing. That's when you get into the Four of Wands energy. But very often they can be very different things, which is when you get into like the Devil card energy, or maybe even like Five of Swords energy. All right, so I'm gonna go. I know I said I was gonna list this in the, what is it, the description, which I will, but I'm also just gonna go into these two colors here. Ever since I did that combo during the intuitive reading, during the intuitive makeup, I have kind of been rocking these two together. I like it. And especially like the glow that it offers is perfect for summer. Okay, so that was another part of the message that came up. Sorry, a lot of this was coming up as I was doing my makeup, and it was like, yo, I don't have time to take notes. Because I really wanted to go ahead and do this while the lighting was better. It's already kind of fading because the sun is moving up across the apartment now. So, yeah, the other part that came up was also, in your pursuit of better, are you being appreciative for what you have now? And I know this is something we hear a lot in the spiritual community. This is not a groundbreaking new message. But it is just kind of important to consider, because even though, going back to my example, even though I know I want to be self-employed, and even though I'm considering that I may have to like cut back from full-time and go part-time, now I can see and more fully appreciate what this full-time job has offered me. Is it my life purpose? Is it where I'm supposed to be forever? No, but it has offered me stability during some of what could have been the hardest times of my life, and they already were, aka COVID. The one thing I did not have to worry about was my finances, because I stayed on full-time. I hated that at the time because my mental health was going through it, but at least I didn't have a financial worry on top of that, you know? So yeah, when I got that message about, you know, are you appreciating what you have currently, the song that came up was, I actually don't know the name of it, but hearing is the one from Pitch Perfect. You're gonna miss me when I'm gone. You're gonna miss me by my hair. You're gonna miss me everywhere. You're gonna miss me when I'm gone. And I don't know if that is for you, the viewer, like you're telling whatever you're leaving behind that it or they are gonna miss you, or if that's how you feel about what you potentially will be losing. I guess you'll have to take that one as it resonates and find your place in that picture. I kind of feel like it could be both, because I know I'm going to be missed when I walk up out that job. But I also know that there are people there that I will miss. I don't think I'm going to miss the work. Not one bit. But there are definitely people there that I will miss. And I think I'll still have some nostalgia about it, just because I have grown a lot. Like the person I was when I started that job is completely different from who I am now. And as I say that, we come back to Lose Yourself by Eminem. I'm also getting Forged by Fire. A lot of messages. All right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this makeup because I did want to pull some tarot cards just to see if, you know, I hit on all the big points. But, oh, and this, interesting. I kind of love this eyeshadow because it did its own, like it smoked itself out, you know? Like y'all saw me put it on my lid and then it just kind of like perfectly smoked itself out. And then I like went over the top, but you can't even really see that part. Anywho, what is this color? It's a NYX eyeliner pencil. Didn't I say I wasn't gonna do this? I'm sorry. My previous channel was a makeup channel, so I just fall into the old habits. Yeah, I need to take a breath anyway. On and definitely a turn on waterproof extreme shine liner. Where is the color? Baby, I don't know what color this is, just know it's like dark brown. The self-concept part with Lose Yourself by Eminem is kind of sticking with me, because even who I thought I was, like I said, who I was at the outset of this job in 2018 when I first started is totally different from who I am now. So there's even something about like for me personally, I told you guys I've had another channel before this one. I kind of thought I was a bad communicator, especially verbally. I have done different series on this channel and then deleted them. Like, I have really gone through the thick of it, trying to figure out my content, trying to figure out who I am, trying to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing with tarot, how I'm supposed to interact with tarot, because I don't interact with it the same way that you usually see with like pick a card readings and stuff like that. I just feel like that's not, as much as I love it, that's not my strength with it. And so, yeah, I just, working on that self-concept is really, really important, because sometimes it's your own limiting beliefs and your own idea of who you are and what you should be doing that's holding you back from what you should actually be doing. I feel like it is important that, like, to mention some of the other colors I saw. Like I told you guys, I saw green and blue. Green specifically is the heart chakra, and there have been a lot of messages about taking heart-based action. So, like whatever action you're taking, making sure it is actually aligned. Excuse me, here we go. All right, we're cooking again. We're cooking again, and that's not good because now I have on all my eye makeup. Stop it. Okay. All right, we're okay. Whew. But yeah, there's something about taking heart-based action, because that is the action that is aligned. So not just looking for another job for survival purposes, but really looking for another job that will pay you well, but that you also enjoy. It's also in alignment with what you feel like you should be doing. And it doesn't have to be curing cancer or anything that society, you know, raises on high and puts on a pedestal. Although if it is, cool for you. But you know, you could be working at a freaking plant nursery if that's what makes you happy and you're knowledgeable about plants and they pay you well. Then you're kind of like getting everything you need, and not really having to lose anything except the limiting belief that you have to be miserable at work. So yeah, the green is actually very important. And even as I say that, I'm noticing that the inside of this palette is, you know, all of the colors are sitting in a bed of green. So yeah. Potentially eating more fruits and vegetables as well, because this palette was created to like it came with a it was really cool promotion actually. It came with a pamphlet of like different juice recipes, because all of the shadows here are named after different vegetables. You have apple, strawberry, kale, yeah, energy boost, mint leaves, coconut water, like things like that. So it came with a pamphlet of different recipes for juicing, which is also interesting because now I'm being guided to talk about how that's actually not as healthy as people think it is. You're basically just getting all of the sugar from the fruits. The vegetable ones are actually healthier. But if it's just like a fruit juice, you're literally just getting all of the sugar and none of the fiber and none of the other things that your body needs. So again, in this pursuit of perfection, what is being lost? And are you aware of what that is? Because a lot of people, I don't think, actually know that. Everybody knows what's best for their own body. We're not all the same. Some people can do it, and if you do it and it works for you, that's great. But it's just something to know, because I think a lot of stuff starts trending and then people don't do proper research, and yeah, that can lead to issues. So yeah, potentially eating fruits and vegetables as well. That's kind of coming up with the color green. And then blue, which is funny because all of these colors are showing up in my shirt as well. The blue that I saw was very light blue, kind of like this energy boost color. And so, and as I say that, I'm like, should I put that on my lids? Should I put that in here somewhere? Blue is related to the throat chakra, which is all about expression and clear expression. Not just in like your speech or in the regular forms of expression, like creative expression, but even just in how you live your life. The way you live your life is an expression of your beliefs. So, kind of just making sure that everything is aligned within and without, within and outside of you. Making sure that you are taking your own advice, which is so funny because I have had a lot of time, especially when I first started this channel, where I was like, wow, I just said that, but I don't actually do that. And I would go on my socials and be like, y'all, I'm a hypocrite. But, you know, it's just, it's something to kind of check on a regular basis. Like, if I say that I really want to thrive and live a brilliant, happy life and blah, 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 am I taking aligned action, or am I still applying for jobs that I know I'm going to hate, but at least they pay me, you know, 15K more? I mean, that would be great. I do want 15K more. I actually want like 6 figures. But I don't feel like any job is going to pay me that much because I don't have a degree. So I'm going to have to get those 6 figures on my own. But yeah, it's just making sure everything is aligned. And making sure you're living the truth that you speak, the truth that you think. And it's so much easier when it's like limiting beliefs. Like those are just kind of programmed into everyone's mind that it's almost like on autopilot. You don't even really have to think about it. But when you start trying to really thrive and get out of the survival matrix, that's when you start realizing like, wow, I'm trying to change my mind and I consciously change my mind, but these patterns that are living in my body are still expressing themselves out. So you really do have to be self-aware when doing this sort of work. And that's why the message keeps coming up that what you're losing may not even be bad. It may be scary because you've never actually known life without it, or maybe you haven't known life without it for a long time. But that doesn't mean it's bad. Just because it's scary doesn't mean it's bad. It actually may be just what you need to get you in the right direction. 6 of Cups is coming up. And I'm being guided to talk about this necklace. All right, you can see it there. I got this necklace when I was a kid. My aunt gave me this. And as I was like getting ready for this video, a message came up about basically who I was and how I was when I was gifted this. And I was so young. I had gone through some things at that point, I think, but I still kind of had this naive belief that I would be great at that point. I still had big visions for myself, and I still do. I lost them for a moment, but they back. But yeah, there's something about kind of going back to what my self-concept used to be. There we go. Who I used to think I was, and who I used to want to be, and how I used to want to be, and how I was as a kid, as far as being like very outspoken and a visionary and kind of fearless and going after things, and you know. So it's interesting because we're talking about losing ourselves, but what's coming up is that you actually might just need to lose the programming. Because when you first come here, you kind of know, especially like really young, like toddler age, you kind of know what you're here to do, and then you go to school to forget. You go to school to be programmed and become something else, and then you have to spend your adulthood, hopefully not your whole adulthood, but at least some of your adulthood, fighting to get the part of you that knew back. So with the Six of Cups, this is really something about coming back to self. You know, what you're losing isn't you. You're losing who society maybe told you should be. As always, take these messages only if they resonate, but that's kind of what's coming up is who I was when I was gifted this is who I'm returning to. And so what I'm losing is just the illusion that was thrown onto me, not who I actually am. And maybe even the illusion that I bought into for a while. Played into, because, you know, you're taught that if you play the game, you're going to get the reward, but that's not true. All right. So I did just go in with some blue. You can barely see it. I feel like my lower lash line is really hard to get stuff to show up. But this is a Sephora pencil in Waterfall. I'm going to try one more blue. You can kind of see it like a little bit. It's really pretty in person, but you can barely see it on camera. So I'm going to try... Ooh. I was going to try Energy Boost, but now I'm inclined to try Blueberry Burst because it's sparkly. I'm childish like that. Yeah, we're going to do Blueberry Burst, which is this color right here. And then I'm going to put on lipstick, and then we're going to pull some cards and see if there's anything else. Although I feel like I did a pretty good job on this one. What y'all think? Still long-winded, still working on it. Although maybe I'm just supposed to be long-winded, you know? I am being guided to talk about something else. Y'all just gonna have all my business. Recently I had a customer at my second job asked me to take photos for her and her group. She's a really nice lady, beautiful. And I guess I was not, she asked me like on 2 different occasions, and she was not happy with any of the photos I took. And she was like, if you do makeup for me, I'm gonna just give you some pointers on how to take photos. And immediately I was like, damn, I guess I need to learn how to take better pictures, right? It's like, cause you know, it's like we're taught we have to be good at everything. And of course, me being a people pleaser, me being an overachiever, I'm like, yeah, let me learn how to take better pictures. But when I got home and thought about it, I'm like, maybe that's a clear signal that I'm not supposed to be behind the camera. You know, like, why would I even try to fall into that skill set of knowing how to take photos when that's not actually my passion? I actually would rather be in front of the camera. People ask me all the time, why aren't you a model? Girl, I don't know. I don't know where the talent agent's at. Help me out. But it's just so interesting how immediately I was like, oh, I guess that's something else I need to work on, when really sometimes the things that you don't know or the things that you're not good at are just signs to go in another direction. And I'm not saying that, see, with spirituality, you have to be discerning. You have to know yourself. So I'm not saying that just because it's hard or just because you're bad at it, that's what you're not supposed to be doing. However, I have had experience behind the camera before when I was working as a makeup artist. My initial first love as far as like photography and modeling and things like that was modeling. That was my first introduction to that world. And I was modeling really young, like at 5. Gave it up for a while, got back into it in high school, and then took it through not really college, but like early 20s. When I got out of college, I was doing a lot of modeling. That's always been more so what I wanted to do. But for some reason, people just love putting me behind the camera. And I do love doing makeup as well. But it's just, it's funny. It's interesting. And it's funny to me that I was still finna slip into some old patterns and be like, yeah, let me learn everything. And it's like, no, you don't have to know everything. What are you actually passionate about? What are you actually passionate about? That's kind of getting into Eshu's realm as well, which is the very reason why a lot of people call the Orisha Eshu a trickster, because he will send you things like that situation with that customer. He will send you those little crossroads and say, have you learned, or are you still doing the same stuff? And so people call him a trickster, but it's like, no, he's just double checking you. Like, you say you want this, but are you still willing to accept just anything? Are you still willing to settle? Are you still willing to people please? Are you still willing to limit yourself? Or are you really ready to step into what it is you say you want? Because that's gonna require probably a different version of you than what other people or even you are accustomed to. Are you ready to become something different? You don't have to be good at everything. You don't have to earn anyone's approval. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. Okay? You don't. So, I mean, thankfully we live in this century where you don't even have to continue having the same body that you were born in. You don't have to continue being the same person you were born as or assigned as at birth. So it's like you really can do whatever you want. So what is it that you want to do? And just make sure when those checkpoints come that you're still affirming your solar plexus and you're not just settling. Let's go ahead and grab, today I was feeling the Radiant Wilds Atlas for obvious reasons, orange. Radiant Wilds Atlas Tarot. Is there anything else you'd like to add to everything I've said today? In your pursuit of perfection, what do you lose? That is your journal prompt, okay? If you want to journal about something. I love that those fell face down on the ground. To me, that represents kind of what we're stepping away from, and nothing else is wanting to come out, so, okay. Page of Cups. Beautiful energy. It's actually very new energy. The page is youthful. And it doesn't mean you have to be young, but it's just youthful. Again, kind of going back to that inner child or that younger version of you who was very fearless, and kind of knew immediately what you were supposed to do, what your life was supposed to look like before, you know, that got programmed out of you. That's that Page of Cups energy. It's kind of like getting back to hopefulness, optimism, but in a peaceful way. It's like you don't have to prove it. You don't have to force it. This is something about true faith is coming through. It's like when you know that something is for you and you know you're going to get it, you can take some of the pressure off, you know? Because I have wanted, in this case, self-employment. I have wanted it for a long time. But the difference between previously and now is I feel like I know I'm going to get it, and so I don't need it right now. I feel like I'll get it when I need it. And not even when I need it, just when I'm ready for it. That's what it is. I feel like I will get it. I love that the TV just clicked, like, yes, confirmation. I feel like I will get it when I'm ready for it. And so, because I have had to grow a lot, I've had to learn how to communicate, how to quickly kind of figure out my thoughts and express them into words in a clear way. How to accept the fact that I just cry when I'm cooking. I've had to learn a lot and grow a lot and accept a lot about myself, and then check a lot about myself in order to even get to this point. So I would not have been ready for self-employment when I first wanted it, which was like right out of high school. High school is a dangerous time, or like early 20s, because you are technically grown and you think you know everything, but you don't know shit. So I'm really glad actually that I didn't get that when I wanted it. It's still something that I want. It's still a passion of mine. It's still here. So that's how I know that it is meant for me. But I don't necessarily need it right now, because I also know that there have been a lot of things that I thought I was ready for and I wasn't. And a lot of things that I thought I wanted that kind of subverted me and gave me time to reflect. And then it was like, wow, dodged a bullet. I dodged getting myself into something I couldn't get out of, you know? So, yeah, it's just like you can take the pressure off. There's nothing to prove. Know that it's yours and it'll come when it and you are ready, right? All right, so let's see what cards fell on the floor. We have, and they are coming out reversed. So it's Knight of Swords and Two of Wands. This is what they look like. I love Two of Wands reversed because, well, I guess it kind of depends. But Two of Wands is the energy of trying to choose between comfort and what it is you really want, which is what this whole video was about, basically. And so reversed, it's like you're no longer kind of teetering on the edge trying to figure it out. It's like it's almost like a decision has been made and now steps are being taken. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be taken for everyone else to see, although maybe. But it's just like maybe you're making the plan to take that risk. Maybe you're starting to save up money or like write down an actual sales plan or like whatever it is. Maybe you're buying new clothes so that you can take yourself on a date while you wait for the partner of your dreams to find you. It's things like that. Like you're getting out of your comfort zone to take the risk that you want to take. And it doesn't necessarily have to be visible for everybody else, because remember, your life experience is not for anybody else. We're taught that it doesn't have value if no one else is seeing it, but that's not exactly true. So, yeah, and then the Knight of Swords. Honestly, I feel like this was almost supposed to be more upright, and then the Two of Wands was supposed to be reversed. But actually, considering what I just said, no. Because Knight of Swords is a fast communicator. And so with him being reversed, there is something about slowing down. Again, not necessarily needing to see the results right now. And not needing to tell people of your plans right now either. Like if you just want to share, cool. But it's like you don't need that outside validation because you have faith. True faith. That whatever it is you're trying to get, whatever your better is that you're moving toward, is on its way to you. And so you can just kind of wait and chill and be cool about it, you know? There's no need to put the pressure on it. My last thing, I do kind of want to see, because the first card that came to me for this video was the Chariot. So I do kind of want to see what the Chariot in this deck looks like. There's a lot of crescent moons showing up in these cards. This is the Chariot in this deck. So what I was saying, I think when this came up, is that you can walk the middle ground for a moment, but eventually you're going to be pulled in one direction over another. Kind of going back to that Two of Wands, you're going to be pulled into what calls to your heart. And you can't, maybe for a moment you can live two types of lifestyles, right? Maybe for a moment you can live the comfortable one and then take a risk here and there, but eventually it's like you do just have to choose one over the other in order to move forward. Ooh, this is really hitting. This is really hitting. I don't know why. So I've had some creative ideas recently, but I'm like, ooh, if anybody at my job sees that, I am fired. But it's like shit or get off the pot. And if it's going to be an idea that still calls to you and it's actually still speaking to your heart and it feels like it's in alignment with what you want to do and how you want to live your life, then do you really want a job to dictate what you do and don't do when you're not on the clock? Also, there's no guarantee that the job's even going to see it. It's just kind of like a, ooh, if they do, I'm fucked. But that's a big if. They might not, you know? So, it's like even when you're kind of walking the middle ground, maybe living both types of lives, you're still choosing one over the other because one could still cancel the other one out. Interesting message. My loves, this video is so much longer than I intended it to be. I literally did my face makeup off camera to save time, and I feel like I saved no time was saved. And apparently none needed to be saved. The message got out that needed to get out. I hope it helped. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I definitely look forward to seeing you guys in my next video. Until then, I will see you later, soul searchers.